Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Rebooked, the show where we talk about the big, meaty men and women who be slapping meat in the middle of the squared circle and the stories they tell in the process, brother. I'm, of course, the man with the buttons. I'm GB. We, of course, are joined by TNA's Matthew Rewalt, and we have Jake the Brain Bennett. Oh, I like that sitcom intro. Exactly. Welcome back, everyone, to Rebooked. And don't forget, if you enjoy the show and you happen to be watching on YouTube, you can go ahead and hit the like button. If you're listening to this across, podcast platforms, why don't you go ahead and share, comment, review, whatever it is you like to do. And for all the good stuff, you can head on over to rebookedpod.com. There you can follow us across
and
all
GB,
the different...
I'm going to interrupt your intro because there's something I think we should be asking our lovely, lovely audience to do.
What's
and
that?
We're a bunch of old heads, so we're about 5 years late to this trend. But not only subscribe, but hit the little bell for alerts so you see when we have a new episode.
That's true.
Because that's a very important thing I've been finding in the YouTube space, especially.
Yes.
Yeah, because sometimes people don't see our videos, even though they subscribe.
Yeah.
But if you hit that little bell icon,
you will get reminded. And isn't that great how that works? You know, you hit the subscribe button.
You will literally to be fed their content, and it's still not enough.
I'm telling the giant mega corporation that I want to watch this, and then the giant mega corporation says, "No, you sure?" Click this bell.
Asking the postal service to let you know when your magazine gets in.
Yeah,
like, that doesn't make sense.
It's so ridiculous. But yes, please hit the bell icon, and just get out there and support what we're doing here. And as always, we'd like to start the show off by hearing from you, our amazing audience, the community. So a lot of people, give us ideas, and we like to pull from them. This time around, someone took our idea but made it a little bit better. Shout out to longtime viewer Ranma Saotome 12 or Saotome Half. It's actually kind of a play on Ranma Half, great anime. And they said, new segment suggestion. One person takes a segment from any show that week they didn't like, example, GB and the Oba Squash, and rebooks it the way that they would have liked it to go while the other two give their thoughts, which is pretty much what we did, but it gets better. At the end of all three, you determine if it's better booking or not. Also, at the end, the person looks directly into the camera and says, "You've just been rebooked." And then there will be some explosions in the background that go off. Now, I'll be honest with you, I don't have the budget to do the explosions. It will really fuck up my house.
They're cheaper. You can do them.
Well, okay.
So wait. This guy wants
Alabama's got the hookup.
Small controlled explosions.
Oh,
this guy wants us to
I can
sound
give you
like
small,
airline
or I can give you
customer
control.
Yeah, he wants us to. Basically,
you've been rebooked on another flight tomorrow at midnight.
I like it. You know what? I'm gonna work on it. I'm gonna see if I can find a way to do some explosion, like an explosion animation in the background. That's like maybe alpha channeled.
Can you literally just get like a GIF of like a cheesy 80s explosion and just put
I think that's what we should do.
It's almost better that way.
I think it is actually better that way. Okay.
It.
I'm gonna lean into it. Hopefully I can get it done before I go to Peru. We'll see what happens. But yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Going to Peru?
Oh yeah, I have a wedding, but I'll tell you guys about that later. In any case, we'll talk about it offline, Jake. We got some more comments coming in. We did get a clarification. This one is from Booking Like a Mark. They said that they have understood what happened with Heyman and Lesnar. Apparently, Heyman did the ring introduction for Lesnar at WrestlePalooza, and they were cool again. Then Heyman brought Brock into the War Games, and I thought they were good. Now, I'm going to say, kind of calling it back to last week, that doesn't solve the problem. I don't think it does, personally, but I get what they're saying. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, no, I'm like... When he did it at WrestlePalooza, it was kind of weird too. Like it's just like, oh, you're back together. Okay.
I was like, oh, okay.
After not seeing it for a long ass time.
Yeah.
So,
and sometimes
I
people
get
just
that
like the gimmick.
series of events, but yeah, no, I know. I think it was probably they figured it was like, it's been long enough. We didn't really resolve this in any way, so let's just put them back together.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely what it feels like. But hey, you know what? Glad you noted that. That actually did. I was like, oh, okay, so there was precedence. At the very least, there was precedence. Which even if whether we agree or disagree, there is still some kind of precedence for him walking out at the Royal Rumble with Brock Lesnar. But speaking of the Royal Rumble, some of our community members did agree with our takes on the Royal Rumble. Vainglory 14 on the last episode's comment section said, I think you guys nailed the takes on the two Rumbles. The Women's Rumble was a blast with so many different stories playing out, really well highlighted by the commentary team. The Men's Rumble felt like a handful of planned sequences, like the Ilya Brock moment. Then they autofilled the rest of the match until they reached the final 3 to 4 guys. It also didn't feel like there were many people going into the Rumble that had a legit story to follow if they won, which eliminates a lot of the tension. That, I think, was the important part of it. There really wasn't a lot of stories going into that Rumble, if any at all, for the men's. Whereas for the women's, absolutely rocked it, nailed it right out of the park. And then this one, Jake, you'll enjoy. Psycor says, could not echo the sentiments any harder about the Women's Rumble being great. Overall, I could have done without the middle 2 matches. The fatigue I felt by the time the Men's Rumble came by was real. Jake hit the nail on the head with the pancakes metaphor. I mean, yeah, I think you definitely, and also kind of reminded me I want pancakes. So, that was mostly why I included that one.
For now, you do.
For now, yeah, it's just very true. But let's go ahead and dive into it and talk about what happened this week. Lots of stuff happened this week, both in the world of wrestling and outside of it. But for now, we'll focus on the wrestling part, shall we? TNA had a awesome start, or rather awesome impact this week. Big matches, great matches, but also great story points that I wanted to highlight here. The one that I think is great is this new system. The new system is very much like establishing themselves as like sharks in the water, threats for everyone in TNA. They're going after Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy with the TNA World Tag Team Championships. They're obviously circling around Santana. However that manifests itself, we'll find out. I'm just interested, Matt, in your kind of take on this new, having covered the system on commentary for so long versus this new version of the system. Do you notice that there's a difference between the two, or like that there's a much more aggressive version of this system, or do you think it's just kind of like continuing forward from what they had built previously?
No, I think it is a little bit of a flip on its head. It is, way much more aggressive. Obviously, big heel turn for the system, but adding the 2 new members, Bear Bronson, who is someone I think everyone should have their eye on, just a uber aggressive, like bruiser of a wrestler. So he fits right in there. Great spot for him. And then you have Cedric Alexander, who's a veteran himself, but like is kind of the embodiment of Mr. Chip on his shoulder. Like hasn't quite gotten his due, his ducats, I think a lot of people would say. So he's kind of probably a little bitter about that. So he's got a lot of aggression to take out. And so, and I would argue, I don't know, but maybe Eddie Edwards finally wanted to feel like he had a little bit more of like hands on the steering wheel, so to speak. Because before it was kind of like leaderless. It was a bunch of just like friends and veterans, Moose, Eddie, Myers, Dango. They're all pals. And so it was a little bit more even keel. And I think this feels a little bit more like Eddie and Myers for sure, but maybe Eddie in particular kind of holding the reins, and then he can guide it to help achieve his goals, which currently right now, thanks to Feast or Fired, will be the TNA World Championship once again.
Yeah, and he's looking like he's on a good pathway for that, which would be pretty cool. And I think a system, as we always say, right, you want to get the team over, you drape them in gold, pretty easy. A narrative thing to do. And also, more importantly, I think for where we are right now, Jake, in TNA, it actually fits. It works right now. It doesn't feel forced because you have like a lot of good guys holding championships, right? And there's this like really hungry, really ambitious new system that wants that. So I think it's like a good time.
A system update.
A system update.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like Windows,
if you will.
How many of those do you get allowed to use on commentary, Matt? Like, how many times can you
system reboot, system update, system overhaul, system overload, system crash? Yeah,
so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jake, I mean, you want to get your thoughts on this, on system stuff, and then also like Mike Santana and kind of how he plays into this as well, because he's got a lot of stuff going on in his world.
Yeah, I mean, I like it because the system has always been great foils, and it feels like we're getting back to the root of the system. That one was not intended, but it did come out.
Demon, you demon. One has to really get into the BIOS files of the system, isn't that right?
I'll bust that one out.
No, but
what the hell is he talking about?
But no, really, we've gotten back to the root of who the system is. We're the troublemakers. We're the one. We are, the cog in the system. We are the. God damn it. We are.
You can't get away from it.
You can't. You just
can't.
No, I really like it because it gives Santana, I mean, something else to do, which it seems like he's involved in a lot. But I think that's a good thing. I mean, to go with my shirt here today, he's our Spidey. He's our Spidey. Right, yeah. Santana's our Spidey. He's our street level hero, from the Bronx, New York, and trying to do the right thing, trying to be the man. But of course, more and more stuff gets in the way. Now he's got his Sinister Six coming out in the system, and he's going to have to deal with them being a problem, and they're trying to take over his block, if you will, and. I think it's great. I think it's a great refresher for the system. I think it's going to be good for stories all around because, like you said, there are a lot of faces that are holding titles, and just to give them something new. I think this will breathe some new life into TNA as a whole and the system in general.
Well, because also too, like, you got Moose returning and coming back to, which also I just love the moment when Moose came back and was just like emoting on the apron, just like hitting his free. It was just such a funny moment. Like, I feel like it's such a memeable thing. I don't know. I just was cracking up.
Sure.
And honestly, like, give me more of that, right? Like, give me more of Moose being a badass. Give me
build
more.
Up his finisher meter. That's why he has to do it.
Exactly, right. And I think like that's a great place to be. I think the Hardys, because the Hardys, I think, have done everything that they need to do in this arc for them, right? They tag titles, multi-time TNA tag titles, or tag champions that they've won since returning. They have had a lot of success. They've, defended the titles across multiple shows now. I think now is the perfect time to like get maybe a Cedric Alexander and a Bear Bronson. What are they calling him now?
Bear Bronson.
Bear Bronson, yeah. Get maybe those two guys become the tag team for the system, which I think could be really cool and also be very different too. Whereas like, I don't know, when I thought of like Myers and Edwards, I always saw them as like the smarmy heel type where, they could be like ruthless and brutal, but like, they'll weasel their way out of a victory if need be, especially Myers, like will find a way to kind of like weasel the win. This, I want them to just be more brutal. I want them to just be more again, just change the system. Okay. Make it a more, a system a more brutal system, that I don't know. I'm trying to find a good pun here, but I'm struggling to find it. It's not. No, don't. You can. You know what? You can guide it there. Okay, you can keep your mouth shut. No, but honestly, that's basically where I think this goes. Now, as far as Santana is concerned, though, he's got another problem that he has to deal with because on his way out, Maclin and Santana had a chat, friends. Colleagues. Santana was like, "Hey man, when I came here, you were the one who welcomed me back. You made me feel like I belonged. Thank you. You're always so selfless. I appreciate you for that." And then that was it. That was all Maclin needed to hear. Selfless? How dare you? Forward onto enemy. I'm going to beat the crap out of you. So that's exactly what he did. Beat the crap out of Santana. And now it seems like we're going into this Santana Maclin thing. Is this Jake Maclin winning the title, or does Santana hold on to it longer because there's more to be done with the system, I guess? I'm trying to figure out which one is the stopgap, if you will.
Well, I think there's more to be done, not just with the system, but with Maclin too. Like, I think this is just the beginning of his descent into madness. I could actually see him joining the system.
Yeah.
I could see something like that happening.
Man, what's that face? I mean, I don't like when Matt makes that face.
No, I didn't think, I just said that was my.
That was
don't read into it, people. No.
I legitimately hadn't considered anything like that. I after we went through this most recent Maclin kind of update, if you will. I hadn't thought, but that could be legitimately interesting. So,
yeah. But I also do think though that like a Maclin joining the system doesn't hit for me the same way as like an Eddie Edwards kind of becoming the leader of the system. You know, like I like that because there's more to it. Like, why would Eddie and Brian step to the side to let this guy who hasn't been part of the system, who's fought the system on numerous occasions, now be the guy who like runs the system? You know, like that would
why would they beat the crap out of the guy who helped start the system in Moose? I mean,
fair point, you know, but I think there's kind of that case to be made though, where it's like they wanted to get rid of a leader. Why would they bring in another leader? You know, why
I'm not saying
Maclin
is necessarily a leader. I just think
that's
like
fair.
It's our goals align, you know, and we have a temporary, like, you know, Punisher doesn't really team with anybody. He has aligned goals. And he will work with people as so long as those goals align. And the second that they don't, he's done with them. I think that's an interesting path for Maclin. You know, if Maclin like, I mean, yeah, he's like, you know what? Maybe I have been, because he said that I haven't been selfish enough.
Yeah,
you know, and I kind of like that idea for him of I haven't been selfish enough. I've been doing on, you know, I was the one who held things down for TNA with, you know, the international international. And you know, I held things down with the international title. Where's the respect that I deserve? I haven't seen any of it. And not only that, but now I've been shown the door. Are you shitting me? Like, Maclin's, like, his turn makes sense. It makes sense to me.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see a determined Steve Maclin. I think he can still have that lone wolf vibe that he has and still work with the system. And I think that would be a fascinating, interesting story for them to examine.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think like there is like, no matter what happens, there's always going to be an interesting story to tell, right? Because of the players that are involved. Where I do want to see more of Maclin is like, you know, the ruthlessness that we got out of him here, like, and if that aligns with the system, as you had mentioned, then yeah, let them just kind of be like my powers combined type of situation, and then just see what kind of terror they can, you know, reap across all of TNA. Could be something, you know, could be a different thing too, rather than like it just being like, oh, I'm joining the team. It's like, no, it's kind of like the way Gabe Kidd was with the Death Riders, where like he was just always like a mercenary for them who would like just come in, do something for them. But I think this one would be better because Maclin's just got way more staying power, way more pedigree with the TNA audience, and way more established.
I want to see him as a chaotic neutral, where it's just like, I do what's best for me when it's best for me, no matter who it is that helps me, but don't get in my way. you don't want to get on my shit list. I mean, literally kind of turn Maclin into the Punisher. I like that idea. He's already got the vibe, he's got the motif, he's got all that already. Give him that attitude and just turn him loose on the roster. Like, that could be really fun.
I agree.
It could be a lot of fun where it's just like nobody, it's not a boo, Maclin's here, yay, Maclin's here. I want, oh shit, Maclin's here.
Yeah.
Like that's the vibe that I want them to create with Steve Maclin.
I think that's such a good note there. Like, when his music hits, you should know, oh, someone's about to get their absolute, like,
somebody about to get their ass whipped.
Exactly.
Like that vibe, like Mark Henry.
Hall of Pain style.
Hall of Pain style. Yeah,
exactly.
No, honestly, like I like the idea of him being this neutral kind of like, hey, I don't really care. I just want to get what I need to get done. This was kind of like the way Braun Breaker started off when he got called up, right? Very like neutral, sideline Ricochet, and then he disappeared. We have no idea where he went. Then, we ended up having like just so many other bits with him being like taking out this guy or that guy, and it didn't matter whether it was good or bad. He just kind of did it. And I think that'd be really cool. Does he though win the world title off of this? Is this the time where Maclin gets that world championship? Matt, do you feel like this is a good time for him to win the title, and especially with Santana just winning it back, or do we have a little bit more meat on this bone and can stretch it out a bit more?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing right now with Santana, and it was kind of a similar thing in AEW of just like a champion with a dozen targets on his back. And I mean, so we're heading into No Surrender this week, which will be live on TNA Plus. You should check it out. But in where Santana is going to team with Leon Slater to take on Nick Nemeth, who still has the Call Your Shot trophy, Eddie Edwards, who has the world title briefcase from Feast or Fired, but even his own partner, Leon Slater, the new authority figure, Daria Ray, has kind of slipped in. Oh, by the way, remember, he's got that option C he can always use. So, and then now Maclin is coming and targeting Santana. And Santana's thrown himself into this, agreeing to help Moose, if he can, take down the system, because he was the guy who ran through the system before in 2024 when he went through everybody and then beat Moose at Bound for Glory. So, like, I think the story is going to be, is Mike Santana, one, can he trust anybody? And two, is he spreading himself too thin? I think that's the story we're going to hear play out.
Yeah. No, I mean, there will definitely be a point where Mike Santana needs to either, who is in a similar arc? I think it was Seth Rollins when he first won the World Heavyweight title. It was like his arc was like, I'm just going to take every match and do everything. That was when he was helping, what was it, Roman? Was it Roman? Did he help Roman, or he tagged with someone? He helped someone in a match. Or Cody. It was all the Cody stuff leading into WrestleMania 40, where he was just so sidelined with everything else that was happening that he lost sight of his, wasn't paying attention to the real shark in the water, which was Drew. And then by extension, Damian Priest, because Drew wasn't expecting that. So I think like there really is a, there really is a cool angle that they could take here. And speaking of like No Surrender, I did want to pull up the matches and just kind of go through that, because there is also another really cool story that's coming out of this that I'm kind of looking forward to, and that is the it's a bit of an odd one, but it's starting to come up little by little, and now we're starting to see the evolution of what this Ariana Grace relationship in TNA and NXT, this liaison, if you will, what this would hopefully do for her. And what do you know? She got a title match because her dad, Santino Marella, gave her a title match at No Surrender. Now, I don't think Lei Ying Lee should lose, but I wouldn't hate the idea of Ariana Grace maybe sneaking away a win here. Because I think there's a good story to be had, and maybe Lei Ying Lee could be in a bit more of a chasing, posture, could be interesting. one of the reasons why I'm kind of tying the two here is like, because you got some like really interesting stories and some fun kind of twists that are going to potentially be coming down the line, right? Because all this is just ripe for shenanigans, Jake. That's basically what this is telling me. We are ripe for shenanigans, whether it's the Knockouts Championship. We also have the International Championship, Trey Miguel versus Stacks, which I'm assuming Ariana Grace is going to come out with with Stacks for that one, right? I mean, she's been kind of coming out with him lately. So there's probably going to be a connection there as well. So yeah, I guess, Jake, what are you looking forward to in this No Surrender show? We got some good matches like Hardys versus and Righteous in Order 4, Stacks, Trey Miguel, Lei Ying Lee, Ariana Grace, and of course this one, which looks crazy.
Yeah, I mean, all the matches are bangers. I mean, they all look like they're going to be a lot of fun. What I'm most excited about from No Surrender is it seems like we're finally building multiple storylines.
Yeah.
And this is something that we were critical of with TNA. I guess just a month or two ago when we kind of did our grades on how we felt like stories were going. And at the time, we only felt like there was, only a few things happening within TNA, and we didn't know what the direction was yet. I think this is where we're kind of starting to see it form. And I think that's what I'm excited about is I'm excited to see the fallout from all of this.
Yeah.
What is going to come of all these matches, because one that you mentioned that was interesting is the Hardys teaming with the Righteous.
Literally have it on my screen right now. Yeah.
Right. And they didn't seem real thrilled about the idea of having to team with the Righteous.
No, they did not.
It was done very much against their wishes, it almost seems. So I'm curious as to how that's going to turn out and what's going to happen when they tag together, because you just have to wonder, are their intentions righteous?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. So true.
So I think that could be very interesting. Like you said, the knockouts match, very interesting, because now are we starting to see Stacks influencing Ariana a little bit with his heel personality, and heel tendencies?
Yeah.
Is she playing this sheepish ingenue, trying to, Daddy, can I please?
Yep.
Can I please have a match?
Yep.
Just to see, just to try it. And then she's going to go turn heel in this match and take the title.
Again. And it's going to be unfair. Right. It's unfair to Lei Ying Lee. Like, whoa, what 100%. She did not earn this shot, if she wins, oh man, Santino's definitely going to lose his job. Like, I think that's what's going to come to.
And then Santino, especially,
because you also need firstly, like, if you think about it from the narrative perspective, right? Santino's been the on-screen figurehead for TNA for like a hot minute, right? Which has been great, and he's been awesome in that role. But you just brought in this Daria Ray, character, right? Sonya Deville, now Daria Ray. You brought her in. She's kind of now acting as like this authority figure-ish, kind of, right?
Yeah, right. And what's going to happen is she's going to be like, look, when everything went to shit in TNA and you didn't have a TNA, and you had an NXT champion holding the NXT talent holding the TNA title, who was in charge when that happened?
Yeah.
Who was in charge when NXT was running rampant throughout TNA? Who just gave NXT another title because they share the same blood?
Yep.
You did.
Yep.
This is not going to go well. This is not going to go well for Santino. It's And what would be interesting is if we find out later that Daria maybe spearheaded all this. That could be a fun thing, that it's a secret hostile takeover of TNA by some,
but she wants it, right? Like you got to think about it from her perspective, right? She gets brought into TNA. She is now in this position, but there's this authority figure in her way that has been there for a minute, that is beloved, that everyone enjoys. This is like the perfect storm of opportunity for Daria Ray to kind of like take full control of TNA wrestling, which I think if this is the direction we're going in, sign me up. I'm so in.
Tried to do. It feels like what they tried to do with Robert Stone.
Robert Stone, yeah, but
yeah.
But that felt like more like, hey, well, let's get this like NXT TNA relationship going. This feels like this is a flat out TNA takeover, like not NXT. This is a new individual who wants to take over TNA, and yes,
I mean,
I'm
and
all about
listen,
it.
and think about the timing of it all. If this is in fact what they're doing, and the timing of the system turning things around and changing things up a little bit, you know, and like, I don't know. I just like a lot of these things feel like they could be connected. And I pray that that's what TNA is actually doing. And it's not just coincidental.
I know that's Matt's just listening and he can't say anything, whether he knows or doesn't know. No, I know you don't know. I'm just saying that it's just funny because it's like, you can't, it's hard. It's hard to hear it and be like, oh, I want to throw my ideas in there, but you know, you don't want to go too far. Or else you might you may say something that Matt, and then before you know,
nothing to say.
Guys, we keep trying to bait him every episode. We try to bait him.
I'm kind of ashamed how little I know. Like I probably should know more.
GB's a master.
But like,
oh man, that's so good, so good. All right, well, look, lots as you can tell, lots to be excited about with TNA this week. Watch Impact on Thursday, and then of course No Surrender on TNA Plus. Well worth the time. I like TNA Plus. I like Ring of Honor's Honor Club. I like joining those and just sending my money directly to the company that produces a product that I enjoy is a nice feeling. So go out there, support pro wrestling, however it may be provided to you. A little show called WrestleMania is on the horizon. You know, there's a little thing. You know, you may have heard about it. And it turns out you need to have a couple of challengers set up for the big main event. And that means Elimination Chamber is the last stop before WrestleMania, which, can I add, I love how this kind of evolved and manifested itself. I like that the Royal Rumble is, one thing, and then you want to round off the rest of the card. The Chamber does that.
Qualifying matches.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah. I like that.
That are big deals.
Yes. And I also I also want to commend them on how they talk about it as well. I think the way they speak about it on air, it's like, you want to go to WrestleMania, you want to main event it, your only pathway is through the Elimination Chamber. Like, that's a great way to kind of frame it, really sets the stakes for what this match is and has been for a while now. So yeah, all eyes are on the Elimination Chamber, which means that all eyes are on our dear, beloved, undisputed champion. Long may he reign, Drewsif McIntyre. He's got Cody Rhodes, Fatu, Trick Williams, Randy Orton, all these people circling around him. Who knows who else could be around the horizon here? Are we kind of excited about SmackDown and kind of excited about Drew right now? Because I kind of feel like the energy is good in that direction, Matt. I feel like narratively they got a lot of good things cooking right now on the Undisputed Championship side of things.
Yeah, no, I mean, Drew winning was obviously very exciting. I mean, from just a long-term fan watching, it's like, it's nice to see him get his, but as a character, it made sense for him to finally, and all the trouble he continues to cause, it's going to keep biting him though. And so now that he is on that mountaintop, he's got and this week's SmackDown was a really good example of that. He literally couldn't get a word in edgewise because Cody Rhodes started whooping his ass. And then 2 hours later, when he collects himself, Jacob Fatu starts whipping his ass. And so I was really happy to see we had not lost. Obviously, Drew eliminated, not inadvertently, like sneak attack eliminated Cody from the Rumble. But then we're not losing the Jacob Fatu of it all. It wasn't just like that Saturday night's main event skerfuffle and then we're done. He's still in that picture, still in mind. And then you have everybody who's going to compete for, the chamber, and seeing Trick Williams getting right into the main event mix is really cool.
Yeah.
Randy is the star power, I think, just to add to that, that mix and everything like that. So it was a much more, I feel like, to your point, GB, it's high energy. It's more frenetic and a little bit chaotic in a good way.
Yeah.
There of like all these good guys or not so good guys, but people gunning for Drew. Whereas Raw seems very, I'm sure we'll talk about it, and I'm going long here, but
no, go for it.
The frenetic nature of the Undisputed title picture with Jacob and with Cody and all these chamber participants, some of which will be from Raw as well, as we found out, makes it feel like, even though I think we are going to ultimately get back to Jacob and Cody probably for Mania.
Yeah.
But it feels like that door is open and like which ways, who's really going to come for Drew by the time we get to Mania? Whereas Raw feels overly anchored, which isn't bad always, but it's Roman and Punk. And we've felt that feels very sure. And so like things like, I love Finn and I want him to get his, but Finn and Punk feels like Sami and Roman from 2 or 3 years ago.
I don't understand title matches before Mania.
It's a nice spot for Finn to be in a world title main event match on a pay-per-view, but
it's the same as when he had it on Raw a few, I mean,
none of us feel like it's going to be a real thing, which is a shame because of the level of talent involved. I mean, I feel like that always ends up happening, not every year, but like somebody's always got to be that last guy to get a shot before Mania.
Yeah.
And Finn is like, it's not a bad spot because you're being featured in a main event. But it's one of those predictable spots where it's just kind of like hey, good job here. Okay. And now you're off to the side again. So
yeah,
I still think it's going to be Finn and Dom at Mania, but the SmackDown, all this to say, SmackDown's title picture feels a little bit more frenetic and like, which way are they going to go? Whereas Raw feels overly anchored, which if there wasn't any Finn thing, I'd be fine with them just digging deep into Roman and Punk, but it just, it feels like there's a little more harm done there.
Yeah, no, I definitely see what you're talking about. I think like the thing that really kind of sticks out to me is that SmackDown's always kind of been the show where it's like, this is where, you kind of get new ideas, new characters, you get like a little bit more wrestling, right? It was that show, for a hot minute, and then it kind of like changed because then it went on network television, and then kind of the tone of the show changed, and it went SmackDown kind of just became like an extension of Monday Night Raw, and it just felt like it was more of the same stuff, which is partially the reason why it kind of I think stalled out the way that it did once the John Cena stuff kind of happened, because then at that point it was like we're waiting so long to hear from like Cena after like he had just done something big. We're waiting an entire week, to find out what's going on with Cena, and then little by little, just you just got tired of it. Right now, it feels like they're back in that era of like, let's just put on some good matches, let's have some good simplistic stories, but then like really focus in on those stories in an effective manner. And one of those is like the U.S. Open Challenge has been great on that. You've been getting a lot with the women's tag titles on SmackDown as well. Honestly, out of all of it, the only thing that's kind of just been a little bit, the things that have been amiss has just been the women's side of things. The U.S. title, women's championship, like those kind of have been like hit or miss. But I definitely feel like there's like a tone shift, and SmackDown's like quickly becoming like, hey, I want to see what's going on this week, and I want to see like who's chasing what.
Consider the chamber qualifying match that we have on SmackDown this Friday. Cody Rhodes versus Jacob Fatu versus Sami Zayn.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, all three favorites.
All three of them. Who could all event. Be?
Yeah.
Like,
wait, it's Cody versus Sami versus Jacob.
Yeah,
that's gonna be
qualifying match.
It's gonna be Sami.
Like see, that's the thing is I could see it being any of these three guys, but
Cody and like, Jacob tear each other apart,
and Sammy's just advantage. Like picks up. Yeah. Like that's what it seems like is going to happen to me, and then it's going to lead to Cody versus Jacob at Mania.
Yeah. I mean,
a grudge match. That's what I assume.
I'm seeing Cody Jacob Mania because look, you got to look at it like this too, right? Like Jacob Fatu was a champion going to WrestleMania last year, U.S. champion. Cody was champion going to WrestleMania last year, world champion. They don't need to fight over a belt right now. They can just like not like each other and just want to fight. Like I'm kind of okay with that.
Who goes after Drew? I'm just curious.
I think you get point. Randy. or maybe run it Sami again.
I would love to think that. I feel like
LA Knight?
LA Knight actually would go kind of hard too. LA Knight would be a good choice because it's another one of those, like, you can build off of okay, here you are, main event of WrestleMania. You're about to fight for the world championship. Do you do it? And then he falls short again. And it's like, you can lean into that story because I think you want to keep Drew with the belt for a little while longer. I don't know.
I would too, but people are going to be pissed if LA Knight loses another.
But then what? What if you get it back for LA Knight at like SummerSlam or something like that? You know what I mean? Because you know you're going to get something significant out of Punk and Roman, right? Like, surely Punk doesn't win that match.
But that's not the same thing. That's not, to me, that's not the same thing.
Yeah, but I feel like they
LA
view
Knight or Sami winning.
I just feel like they view it as like, title change, yay or nay. I feel like that's just how they look at it. Is like, how many belts are we going to change this night? Like, we don't want to do too much. We want to do too little. I don't know. I could be wrong. But that's kind of the vibe I always get, where it's like they just don't want to do too much. Like, I don't think Drew's going to lose. I think Punk's going to lose. You know what I mean? Because like that also fits better for the story too. Because if Punk loses his title, and then let's say Seth Rollins happens to return, or Roman gets a run with the world title, and he kind of makes the belt, that sets up something for him and Seth down the line that's perfect. Whereas Punk can maybe go and like fight Drew because he fucking hates him. Like that could be a possibility. We could reunite that feud. So there's just, I think there's just more with that combination of.
But you could also do that with LA Knight if he wins the title off of Drew, because LA Knight and Punk have a little history.
This also seems like a problem with CM Punk. I wonder why. It just seems to have a problem with everybody. But yeah, I don't know. I think there's some good stuff here. And it is making me excited for Mania in a different way. Because I feel like years past, right, it has been, the stakes are the highest it has ever been. You must win or else the world will end.
Well, the thing has been is like either the writing has been on the wall for what Mania is going to be, of like we've known since even before Rumble that it's probably going to be Roman versus Cody again, or it's probably, or whatever it is. Or it's like it was last year, where it's like we're walking into Mania not knowing what the hell is going on because there was like no build to it whatsoever, it felt like.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to find some middle ground like it seems we're doing this year, of like, let's have a little intrigue and a little surprise, but like, let's at least know what the hell we're doing going into Mania.
Yeah. No, it definitely gives me that vibe. But there's a lot of, interesting little tidbits in here, right? You talk the Elimination Chamber matches on the women's side. Rhea Ripley's in there. Liv Morgan is not declared, but there was a great segment on Monday Night Raw between her and Stephanie Vaquer and Dom, which, I was worried because Stephanie Vaquer, obviously not being fluent in English, is
well, and I'm not a Spanish speaker, but I don't think he called Liv a bitch.
No, no, definitely did not.
He really said that.
No, he did not. How
dare Stephanie put words in Dominic's mouth?
It was very funny. I actually thought that was a great segment.
I thought it was too. Yeah. It was really good
for like utilizing the limitations and the individuals at play. So I think we could safely say it'll be Liv Morgan versus Stephanie Vaquer for the Women's World Championship at WrestleMania. Elimination Chamber.
Wait. Alex.
What?
Alex.
Oh, he's using your government name.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Government busted out.
Are you here to tell me that you could put somebody on TV and speaking another language and like it be a good segment and entertaining, and even if you don't understand every word, you very much get the vibe of what is being communicated and expressed to you? It is a wild concept.
To be fair, there was an alternate stream on Facebook during that segment.
Was it the All-American World Championship segment? Was that what that was?
It was Control Your Narrative, I think is what it was.
Control your narrative. But yes, it was a great segment. And it does feel like this is where we're going. which I think is great. I think Liv and Stephanie could really put together a phenomenal match at Mania. And on top of that, too, I think the story, Dom being somewhat involved, could be great. And, it does kind of also feel like Finn Dom Mania. How possible is this? Because I kind of feel like we're moving to Finn versus Dom, maybe for the IC title. No, for the AAA title, right? For the AAA title.
I think for IC. I think it's for the IC title.
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. It's exciting. It's kind of cool. Yeah. I like that. Not much. Judgment Day had some stuff going on too, but there wasn't. We'll continue to pull from that. We'll see what's going on over there. But I think we're all kind of just witnessing. We're calling it for the 5th time. The end of the Judgment Day, maybe, sort of. We will find out. But overall, I would say across Friday Night SmackDown, Monday Night Raw, it was just a solid episode of TV. Two solid episodes of TV. Entertaining. You really couldn't ask for anything else. And good setups for WrestleMania, and also, more importantly, Elimination Chamber. Because once WWE has those wrestlers go into the ring with those like triple threat qualification matches, that's where they're shining, man. They're like absolute just unbelievable wrestling. Just give me more of that. You also had AEW kill it this week. They had a lot of good stuff going on. And one of the most shocking...
Oh, yeah. Jordan Grace has a title shot on Friday, too. I forgot
that's right. That's right. Jordan Grace. She won that over... who was it that she beat? Lash Legend, was it? Did she beat for that title shot? I forgot who it was because I remember seeing it on...
maybe.
Yeah. That would be pretty cool. And that would be Jade Cargill's first title defense, by the way. Fun fact on that one. Not so fun. I don't know. But anyway, moving forward, though, to AEW. Another great week for them. But narratively, they did some really cool things. The thing we have to address off the top, and it goes without saying, that whole situation with Brody King and MJF, I want to start with that first because it was just so good. The show's going on. I'm watching it from home. I like, I set time to watch AEW and, make sure I enjoy myself and, just hang out in my living room with my beer, right? And I'm looking at the clock and I'm like, damn, they're going to do this title match. They only got like 10 minutes of like runtime. This is poorly timed out. So the whole time I'm thinking like, oh, we got another one of those AEW ran out of the clock situations. Nope. Turns out AEW knew exactly what they were doing. Brody King pinned the AEW World Champion MJF in 2 minutes, I believe, off of a distraction from Hangman, I want to say, and from the crowd. Yeah, actually, the crowd too.
I blame the crowd.
I blame the crowd. I think the crowd actually
and being crude.
Oh, that's right. You know what's crazy? Because I forgot that the whole fuck ice chant started, and then the match happened. They could lean into it. Honestly, they should lean into it.
Was longer than the match.
Yeah, that's actually pretty hilarious. So what did we make of this? Because we talked about this last week, and also fuck guys, but we talked about this last week, and we said, what is the situation with this Brody King kind of stopgap little arc that's happening right now? And while it's still very much that, Matt, it's evolved into like Brody King beat the world champion in 2 minutes. That is a thing that he will always be able to say as a character forever, which is a big deal. But now it's a question of whether or not if he can finish the job, and if he can't, how does that manifest itself? That because I'm curious how they do this in Australia.
Yeah, no, I am too. So the funny thing is too, like to your point, like I don't like saying it, but we kind of just said it with Finn and Punk, right? Like there always sometimes end up being that person who's like, you're going to get a shot, you'll be in the main event, but like this is clearly not where we're staying. We're on our way to something else. And that at the beginning, it felt like that with Brody King. Like, oh, he had Kenny, he had Hangman, he had Swerve coming after him, and then out of nowhere comes Brody King on his own. And we're like, oh, that's cool. It's a nice little attaboy for Brody King, but I don't know if this is going anywhere.
Yeah.
And I think for a while we didn't believe that. And going into the match, I wasn't even sure he would beat MJF in the Eliminator. I thought he might, and then because they were going to do the Grand Slam Australia, and then MJF would beat him there, which I still think is most likely to happen.
Yeah.
But after this week, that was a big deal. And it was nothing to do with the match, but that has fed into his aura, into his personality. It's now become a part of that thing went viral. That moment it went on to newscasts, all this stuff.
Yeah.
So like, those are the moments that can, even though it had nothing to do with the story in they're being telling within wrestling, it had to do with how he expressed himself as a person. And so now it's morphing its way into his character. And those moments can change career paths. So while I don't necessarily think he's going to win the title in Australia, it went from like 90-10 to at least like 70-30, 60-40 in my head. And I still think, irregardless, Brody King has now punched his ticket as a larger single star. Even if he doesn't win the title, I think he will start moving. They can make some merch off him. Like he's going to be one of these like, oh shoot, we need to be putting him more front and center because he's getting a lot of attention.
Go for it, Jake.
Well, I think it's interesting that the man beat the guy who calls himself the salt of the earth and may have become that himself in the process.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about like Brody is like a man of the people now. Like the people have embraced him. And that was not only a statement, obviously, against ICE and what's going on, but like that was I don't know, that was them accepting Brody King as one of theirs as well. And I think that's big. I think that that's super important, especially because the whole point, like, even if that had not happened, like, let's take that out of the equation. The point of this match was building Brody's credibility as a singles competitor. That was the whole point of this.
Yeah.
And not only did it do that, but the crowd got so into it and helped get him over so much. Like I could very well see after this match that Tony was planning on going one direction, and then after this happened, could potentially pivot in Australia. I could 100% see something like that, because AEW is exactly the kind of place that would love to have someone like this, even if it is just briefly or even, whatever, as a title holder and a world champion. I think it makes it's good pub for AEW, and I think can help bring in some more people and be like, hey, wrestling as well. Wrestling, its talent and its fans are not all what you expect them to be anymore.
Yeah.
You know what
that
I mean?
was the biggest thing I took away from that.
And I think that could be a great opportunity for AEW to continue to separate themselves from other promotions by having a champion like this. And not just because of the chance or whatever, but like he's clearly over.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's the thing that's important to note, because I think I was seeing some people be like, oh, well, it's just because he's like, latched on to like a popular thing. And it's like, no, firstly, he was saying this from the beginning. Brody's convictions have been very public from the start. I bought an Abolish Ice shirt of his during All In, right before All In. Like, I bought that shirt. So like my guy's been consistent for a really long time. But also it's like, as a wrestler, in AEW, he's also just beloved. Like, plain and simple. He's just a beloved wrestler. Every time he comes out, the dogs are barking. Every time he's doing the cannonball, they're enjoying it. Like, every match he does, the crowd's into it. Like, he is organically over in AEW. And I would even say organically over just in general, because I mean, the dude's done moves that like people also, use all the time as well. I mean, he's not like the inventor of these things, but he's like the straight jacket. No, the hanging from the apron bit that they did, right? Like, Brody's done that a lot in the indies. Like, that was like it's been done before. Don't get it twisted. Like, many people have done it before, but like, Brody's done it a lot, made it a staple, brought it back in that match against Darby, made it like popular there again. You start to see it more and more because it's cool. It's a cool move and you look cool doing it. Like, and he gets it. And he's just a good performer. And I think he's due for one, man. I don't think the world title is going to happen here. There's a much bigger title picture that is manifesting itself in AEW with Hangman, with hell, maybe even Will Ospreay potentially, with Swerve and Kenny Omega, and like very reminiscent of what TNA are doing right now. AEW's done a great job establishing that, except it's the reverse. Bad guy, good guys chasing, whereas TNA is good guy with bad guys chasing. But Brody King, I think, fits in a really great spot here, Matt, where he could maybe, I don't know, squeak that belt away from Okada for the international title. I don't know, maybe go up against a John Moxley or whoever wins that continental title next, like Takeshita, which that would be a rough one.
Or they'll just create a whole new title for him to have.
Also just make the Brody King championship. That's right. Yeah, exactly. The Be Harder championship.
Drop Ricochet on his bald ass head and take that national title.
And honestly, you could do that.
Whoa. This bald on bald hate. What are you doing?
Hey, man, if you can't beat them, join them. The people have spoken. They hate bald. I hate bald too. Bald people suck.
Wow. Okay. We got
self-loathing bald man.
We got to
that is aggressive. I don't disagree with you, but that is aggressive.
I need to have an audio like soundboard, and I just like bald people suck. Bald people suck. That'd be great.
Bald people.
That'd be great. So look, there's something here with Brody. I'm hoping that they continue to explore it. But there's also a couple other things that I did want to shed some light on before we move on, because there's a lot with AEW to talk about, because it was a pretty dang good week. For example, you had the Babes of Wrath. Those Eliminator matches are gruesome, and it turns out the Babes of Wrath lost to Team Megabad, which is Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford. I'm not the biggest fan of the name Megabad. Just going to throw it out there. I think Mega Baddies could have been a little bit better, but
agreed. But
it works for them.
And I give AEW credit for something, and WWE's done this for far too long, because we know they don't put a lot of emphasis on tag team wrestling, despite anything anyone might say. They don't. It's clear. It's obvious. But AEW makes these teams and like brands them. And that is a huge thing. So, and even though like Willow is a singles champion too, she's still part of this team known as the Babes of Wrath. And then the Timeless Love Bombs. And what's the name? Megabad?
Megabad, just Megabad.
Yeah, like it's not amazing, but it's a branded team.
And so it's both of their names. They've used those names for a long time. So, like Penelope Ford.
You're a real team. And as much as like I love them individually, like Rhea Ripley and Io Sky are just Rhea Ripley and Io Sky tag teaming together.
Yeah.
But like, it's not going to be super long term. They're friends, and eventually they'll wrestle each other again. But like, I love as a guy who spent a lot of time in a tag team, I love real tag teams.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who are branded as such. And you know what I mean? It makes a difference.
Yeah.
Like matching gear and a tag team name make like a shocking amount of difference. They seem like such small things, but man, it's a nice thing.
Well, and I can see why that resonates with you in particular, right? Because you did that. like you did all that. You made the fun look, the fun character, the vaudevillains. You had that hook to you that was inherently yours. And I think like that is a very cool thing, and I like that. I agree with you. I'm not wild about when you just combine people together, make a team. It's okay when you do it on occasion, especially like, you know, like Rhea Ripley and Io Sky works, or Charlotte and Alexa Bliss, I think is a really good example of it. They use tag team wrestling to tell a good story there. And that was like really, really effectively done.
Team Hell No was one of my favorites.
Exactly. Team Hell No. WWE have the ability to do it when they have a story to tell, but you can tell the difference when that is happening versus when they just don't have anything for someone and then they're just like, "You're Rio." And they're like, "Oh, yay." Like, I don't know. And it is equally as frustrating when you have like some great or duos already, like Chelsea Green and Alba Fire, right? I think is a really good example. Why not them? That could easily be a tag team that wins a title. And there's already a little bit of a character and story there, but that requires them paying attention to tag team wrestling. So, you know, that's a unique WWE problem. But for AEW, that's not the issue. And instead, what you're going to get is Megabad versus the Babes of Wrath at Grand Slam Australia. I think they should win. I think Megabad should win. We've had a lot of the fun, happy guys. Look at the conglomeration homies with all these belts doing great. Mark Briscoe lost his. Now the dominoes start to fall little by little. And I think next up will be the women's tag titles.
I refuse to allow my queen Harley Cameron to lose anything.
Harley Cameron's got bigger things to do, man. She's gonna be a singles champion. Like, it's gonna happen.
Then let her hold all of it. Let
her take all the gold. Damn it.
Let her hold all of it. Give her the. That would be funny if they gave her Mercedes gimmick, and Mercedes was so mad. She just won like one more belt than Mercedes won, or something like that.
I mean, like, after doing belt collector and then running it back, but she should just come out with made up titles, which is essentially
absolutely,
just do it like that, just made up titles, just like a whole bunch of them,
just made of like paper and cardboard.
Exactly,
my niece gave me this one.
Exactly,
you know, I'm the
champion of our family. Okay,
the living room wrestling champion.
Exactly. I mean, why should not?
Why not
validating
a couch
this
match and I won?
Yeah, that's right. JD Vance was the rereferee. It was great. You know, like, he took the couch home with him
the whole time.
Just kept hitting him.
Yeah, over and over again.
He kept trying to pin the couch.
Never stopped. We kept saying, "JD, stop! The couch you're not fighting the couch." And he's like, "I'm not fighting the couch. Don't you pay attention." Oh man. Anyway, God,
probably only got a 3 count out of him. Too.
Yeah.
All right.
So a lot of cool stuff happening over there. But there is another cool thing I did want to mention that is very worth that I did not expect, and honestly, really digging it. Andrade. What a return to AEW. What happened? What happened, Matt? You have this?
Nothing. I was reacting because you were like this thing
that
I didn't expect. So
I was worried. I was like, did I mess something up? You know, because when
I thought he missed something.
Yeah, when you're like producing the show and hitting all the buttons and making sure everything's recorded, and the moment you see one of your co-hosts like lose their mind, you're like, did I break something? That's what my production brain tells me.
It's after 1 p.m. in Chicago. I'm drunk.
He obviously goes without saying. Yeah, but look, Andrade is being fast-tracked was fast-tracked essentially to a match. Now, granted, this was kind of getting us back to a match that was going to happen and didn't happen due to some contract issues with Andrade, which was Andrade versus Kenny Omega. Andrade came back, attacked Kenny. We kind of saw that pathway happen, but now we're back. We're doing this again. Match is going to be incredible. That's number one, because Andrade has been unbelievable. And he's always been great, but like, you could definitely tell there's like a different kind of tone this time around. Whereas before, the Andrade was very like, you know, Andrade in AEW was show up to the match, put on a good match, and then kind of just like leave. Now he's so much more entwined. There's more story connected to him. There's also this, the women coming out to the side of the ring wanting to take pictures with him. Where do we think that's going? Because that's kind of interesting. Or is that just like a fun thing to do for Andrade, Matt?
I think it's just a fun character flourish. You know what I mean? Just to add a different layer. He's a little bit of that Lothario kind of, ladies' man. We've seen it a bajillion times in wrestling. I think they're just adding that little extra flourish to his character.
I think that's going to be the thing that causes him to lose against Kenny. I wouldn't be shocked if they kind of like use that, not like that's what makes him lose, but like him just being distracted or him not being like fully like paying attention, because in the end of the ring, you're in the ring against Kenny.
What do you mean? He already beat Kenny.
No, he's not. He's fighting Kenny at Grand Slam.
No, he's fighting Hangman at Grand Slam.
Oh, sorry. He's fighting Hangman at Grand Slam. That's what I meant. Sorry.
He beat Kenny this
Opposite
week.
difference. But yeah.
Okay,
opposite. My bad. Hangman at Grand Slam. But regardless, the thing still stands. I could see him being distracted. I could see this still. You're still being distracted against Hangman. Like, regardless of it's Kenny, whether it's Hangman, it doesn't matter. You're at this big matchup. This is going to be a really good, I think, kind of way for them to have their cake and eat it too. But I'm looking forward to this. What do you think, Jake?
I don't think the question with Andrade has ever been about his in-ring ability.
Yeah, of course.
I don't think that's ever been the question. So it's not surprising to me that he had a great match with Kenny, and it won't be surprising to me when he has a great match with Hangman.
Does he win that match against Hangman? Or
I don't think he does. I don't think that he does. But and so I'm interested to see what happens with Andrade after this. Because it's easy. I think it's easy to come to bring a guy in and make him look good for a few weeks that he's back or returning or debuting or whatever. But it's the same thing with Andrade, is like, what's his staying power? Because I feel like every time, the last time he came into AEW, it felt like he came in hot. When he came into WWE, he came in hot, and then all of that just dissipated.
Yeah.
And disappeared. Yeah. And you can say it's due to opportunities and whatever, and I'm sure there is some truth to some degree with that. But we just I just want to see something more out of Andrade than that, and I think that's kind of where I'm waiting to see how this goes. But
can I do some fantasy booking? Hey. Okay, so I was thinking about this as you were mentioning it and how everything kind of plays out. There are multiple things happening here, I think, that I would like to see AEW explore. The first thing is the Andrade of it all, right? How do they kind of, to your point, Jake, continue to keep the sauce on Andrade? Right, because I think that's kind of like what they want to do here. It does. I'm getting that vibe where it's very much like, he's giving a lot of interviews saying how like bought into the system of AEW he is, and is very like, that's funny. You're always bought into the system at the end of the day, kid. But like there's a lot of like good PR surrounding his return, and I think like they're doing a good job with it. I could see Hangman losing this match against Andrade. MJF doesn't want to face Hangman, right? MJF doesn't want to face Hangman. I'm sure he wants to try and avoid him as much as possible because he doesn't like the guy. He doesn't want to give him that opportunity, right? I think that what you do is you have Andrade beat Hangman because MJF kind of gets involved, so to kind of prevents that from happening in a similar capacity where Hangman did the same thing to MJF, right? You kind of got to get back at him for that. So something's going to happen there, I think. Then for Hangman in particular,
you think MJF will be involved even though he's got his own match later in the night?
I think he's going to do something to try and like just distract. I think he's going to cast distraction and something's going to happen. But he's going to get involved in some way, shape, or form. He does not want to fight Hangman. It has been very well established. Every single time they encounter each other, he's always like, well, buddy, you got to work your way up. Well, buddy, you got to do this. You got to do that. He does not want to face Hangman. So he's going to do everything he can to prevent that, right? I could even see a world where Andrade does actually win the world title off of MJF if they wanted to do this, but I don't know if that's where the money is. I actually think, I think where it actually is that Will Ospreay is going to return, and you're going to end up with a similar situation, except now the question is, does Hangman take a step to the side to allow Will Ospreay to be the one to defeat MJF and win the world title at All In. I think that's where you want to go here, because you got to keep that tension between Hangman and Will going, because they had a lot of like, oh, good job, man, go get him there, right? But Hangman wants that belt back. He feels like he should never have lost it. Yeah.
Not enough bruvs in that.
Not enough, bruv. Yeah, he felt like he should never have lost it, you know? So, like, what happens when a person feels like they shouldn't have lost it? Like, I don't think Hangman goes bad or anything, but I do think that there is a, there's something there that's unresolved that I kind of want to see them explore with Will Ospreay and Hangman. That's my fantasy booking. That's why I think we go. What do you guys think? Yay, nay, like it, don't like it?
I don't see the Andrade winning thing.
Winning at Grand Slam.
At Grand Slam or the world title current at the moment. No.
And world title's a stretch. I see the Grand Slam way more than I see the world title.
I see, I do see what you mean. I think I could see MJF trying to try to get to maybe like a pay-per-view with Hangman or something like that as a way as trying to stop him along the way. But I can also see that where he tries to do a distraction and then Brody King stops MJF, like yanks him off the stage or something, or runs him off.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I feel like MJF doesn't want to face Brody King now.
Yeah, that's true too.
I feel like he's got so much literal and figurative bigger fishes to fry.
Yeah.
You know, in Brody King that I think he's, you know, he needs to be worried about his championship now.
That's true.
Not months from now. You know, so that's why I think like it would have been interesting to see like maybe something like that was going to happen, but now MJF's like, well, shit. Now I need to I got to get my head in this match.
Yeah.
Otherwise it's going to get stomped in.
Yeah.
And
legit.
You know,
that's what I'm saying. I like this idea. Like, I wouldn't be mad if Brody wins, man.
I would. Who other than MJF would be mad if?
No. I mean, you know what I mean, though. But I know what you're saying.
I know, but still,
I think like, why not? You know, like where you could still get back to where you want to get to for All In, but like Brody just kind of like being the one to take the belt, not be Hangman, not be Ospreay, just it be Brody, just because it's Brody. Actually, kind of goes kind of hard. You know, like I think that could be kind of cool. But yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of good stuff happening here. I'm excited. Dynamite tonight should be pretty good. So be on the lookout for that. But I got like just across the board, man. What a great week of wrestling. It really was.
Good week.
Whether you watched AEW and you got a lot out of that, or you are just a TNA enjoyer, you were treated to one hell of an episode of Impact. And for WWE fans, like, you should be excited for the Elimination Chamber, and you should be excited for WrestleMania. There are some good stories, some good matches heading into the showcase of the Immortals, if you will. Of course, that brings us to the end of the show. And I know everyone's sad, but don't worry, because we got one more thing to do, and it's the Rebooked 24/7 Champion of the Week. And this is, of course, the segment where we award the person, place, or thing that brought us the most joy this week. Who wants to go first, or should I just get it out of the way?
Just get it out of the way.
Just get it out of the way.
Bad Bunny. Okay, dude. Bad Bunny. Dude. Oh, my God. Dude. Okay. People, in case you don't know, I'm Puerto Rican. Okay, in case the Rebooked audience isn't aware of that, in case I haven't made it painfully aware. And in case you also don't know, us Puerto Ricans, we always have a flag on standby whenever we need it. Okay, there's always one around. In any case, that Bad Bunny performance is Supermania. You hear me? Super Bowl 60. Supermania 60. Make that a show. Tony, book it. That thing was, it was powerful. It was a beautiful moment. To anyone who's probably watching this and being like, what? It was in Spanish, blah, blah, blah. I just hope you understand for a minute the powerful message that was displayed on that field and on that day, about unity and love for America, not the United States, America, all of America, the continent that we rest on together, that we share land with together. I thought it was a very beautiful, moving performance. Tons of great moments as well. the production value. We're nerds for production on this show. So I think above anything else, you at the very least have to appreciate, Matt, the production. The production was insane.
I don't know what it like a shot like that, especially with all like the vignettes they were doing, all the little separate scenes they had amongst the canes and the ferns and stuff, which were all people in grass costumes, which is wild. I can see like maybe the in stadium audience might be a little like, where do I look? What? Just watch the screen though. But from home, the timing of the camera cut to this and be ready to go into this next bit of action, all while the music continually plays, all these little scenes being set up and then moved. And it is a monumental effort.
Yeah.
From a broadcast live, as people who work in live broadcasts and television, that shit is not easy. I'm sure they had to do a ton of rehearsals and all that stuff, but damn, it came off really, really well. It was very cool.
I was watching the Super Bowl performances from the years prior and seeing this one. And yeah, I mean, there were great shows prior. I mean, I think like, you know, there was always fun moments or funny things like Katy Perry's with the shark and stuff like that. Like there's always had those silly bits, but and I will say Kendrick's performance last year was incredible production wise. Like you want to talk about it like an immaculate production. I mean, Kendrick Lamar delivered. This was definitely like that scale, but like 2x, 3x because of just the amount of things that were happening all at once. Whereas with Kendrick, good set design actually allowed them to be able to like really focus in on like individual moments within the performance.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, because the set design was so elaborate and because the brushes were human beings, they were able to move them around so quickly. They were able to create so many unique set designs that you looked at the show and you're like, go and look at the overhead shot. They barely moved. They barely moved from the location where they were in the center of the field because there was just so much incredible production and great movement throughout the show. It was so good. Jake, I don't know if you had anything to add to it, but
no, I mean, I didn't understand a damn word that he said, but I got the sentiment.
Yeah, and I think that's the important thing.
Sentiment, and I think, and it was
like, I think you guys both as like two, you know, sorry to interrupt, but just like, you know, two white dudes from different parts of the world, I think could also relate to the wedding sequence. You know what I mean?
Well,
like
it wasn't just the wedding sequence,
which was real, by the way.
It was real. Yeah.
That's sick.
It was the sense of community.
Yeah.
That you saw throughout the performance that I think is what resonated the most.
Yeah.
Is you just saw, I mean, it felt like a, you know, obviously starting out with the sugar cane and made a very a powerful statement against the, you know, some of the slavery that has taken place in Puerto Rico and the history of that. But then, you know, going to see the proud community that has come from that.
Yeah.
And like, how can you not relate to that? You know, there's that moment of him walking to the different carts in the shops and saying hello to people and waving to them, and everybody's, you know, like, I vibed with that big time. But like, then
that's the America we should want. That's exactly how I felt watching it.
Yeah. And
you know?
and I loved, you know, and the people who are upset are the ones who are, he didn't say a single word in English. No, he did. And the words that he did say in English, which you can see on that photo right there, the most important words he said were the words that were in English, which is the only thing more powerful than hate is love.
Yeah.
And
that God bless America.
And
right.
Yeah,
he did say that.
And he said, "We are America." You know, and I thought it was a phenomenal show. I think even if you didn't understand the words of the music itself was enjoyable. It was a vibe. But then like the showing the history and the pride and struggles of the Puerto Rican people throughout the show with, you know, with the, like I said, the sugar cane and the issues with the power grid during the hurricanes where, you know, all we did was throw fucking paper towels at them and shit like that. And like, was all important.
Yeah.
And I thought it was great.
Thanks, guys.
That was a great show.
Beautiful words. Very well put. Yeah, I mean, you know, for context, in case you don't know, the Ricky Martin part when he came out The song that he was singing, you know, the words that he was saying was about not letting go of the flag and not letting go of your culture and your people, but like not in a way that has been weaponized. You know, I want to be very clear here, because when folks like me talk about culture, what we talk about is people who have been, you know, subjugated and unfortunately like enslaved and struggled throughout the history of this country. Go back and read and learn about the history of Puerto Rico and how the United States came to acquire Puerto Rico as a commonwealth, and, you know, and all the things that happened to the island since then. My family used to own a farm in Puerto Rico, and my grandfather had to sell it, and he saw the writing on the wall and realized that no matter what he did, he was going to struggle on this island if he remained, because they made it purposely that way. And yet through that struggle, you know, this beautiful thing still remains, which I think that's the Puerto Rican identity. That's what it means to be Boricua. And
I also loved that the flag that he came out with was the original.
Yeah, that's our original. So yeah, Puerto actually, fun fact. This flag version here,
that's the colonized.
This is the colonized flag of Puerto Rico. The actual flag of Puerto Rico is navy blue, and then the resistance flag of Puerto Rico, if you ever see it, is black and white. Yeah,
I thought the original one was light blue.
The original one is light blue. Yes, that one was light blue. But the resistance flag that we used they used, I should say, during the you know, rebellion and trying to reclaim their land and stuff, was black and white. So yeah, it's a loaded history, but one worth checking out. And it was a beautiful thing, and I'm just glad that so many people got to. I got to share my culture with so many people. So it was
there's a lot of videos that talk about the history that he talked about,
yes,
or showed throughout that. They're worth seeking out.
Yeah, if you want good reading on it as well, you could check out the real history of Puerto Rico. It's a retelling of like the struggle from a Puerto Rican scholar. It oftentimes gets debunked. They say it's debunked, but it's not. It's the story. It's just, you know, the history is written by the victors.
So you can't trust it.
History is written by the victors. That's all I'll say about that. So yeah, that's mine. Sorry, didn't mean to take up that much time, fellas. What's yours?
Is there even any reason to nominate anything?
All right.
Well, I would like to nominate Kid Rock.
I knew you know. I knew you were going to do it.
The bravery.
The bravery to lip sync in front of a non-existent crowd in a pre-taped segment is unparalleled.
You want to know what's the thing that actually shocked me the most about that? The lack of production. That was the thing that's no. I mean, sure.
It shocked you?
No, well, because you know that you're competing against the Super Bowl, right? And like the Super Bowl has like Apple Music paid for the production of this. You know, like we're talking millions of dollars here. If you know that this is what you're going to do,
My Pillow money ain't going to compete with it.
And that's what I'm saying. You know, you can't compete. You cannot compete. The quality of the music is not good. Also, I'm sorry, but I just want to kiss my frog, love my goat. What was that song the guy was singing? Where he's just like, I just want to wear my boots and just live my life. And I'm like, dude, no one's telling you not to do those things. What is wrong? What is wrong with you people? That's basically where I will leave this episode. What is wrong with you people? That's it, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bad Bunny, you are a Rebooked 24/7 champion. Just not even a question. What a show. Go watch it. It's on YouTube. All right. It's well worth your time.
Listen, I was going to mention Sam Darnold. The quarterback for the Seahawks, just because of the journey that he has taken.
Yeah. Another Jet that won a championship.
But dude, the dude was the number 3 pick. He gets taken by the Jets and sucks because the Jets is a god-awful organization.
Yep.
Then he gets traded to Carolina, where he sits behind Bryce Young and Baker Mayfield, and they don't renew his contract. So then he goes to the 49ers for a year, where he sits behind a rookie who was also just drafted 3rd overall. And then he ends up sitting behind a guy who was Mr. Irrelevant in the draft that same year in Brock Purdy, who was the very last pick of the draft. Then he gets signed by the Vikings.
Damn, that's
has
crazy.
A great year. has a great year, 1-year contract with the Vikings, does unbelievable, but they don't renew him because guess what? They signed the number 10 overall pick of the draft that year in JJ McCarthy. So he gets a 3-year, $100 million contract from the Seahawks. And in his first season with a brand new coach, wins the freaking Super Bowl.
38-year-old coach as well.
If that doesn't motivate you to say, I can still do it no matter how much time I've put into it and where I've gone and where life has taken me, shit.
Bro.
I don't know. I don't know what will.
I think honestly, this is a great place to end it. You want to know why? Because look at the story of Lil Benito over in Puerto Rico. Same freaking thing. He was a he was a grocery bagger kid. That's what he did. His job was bagging groceries. He had no money. He had nothing. All he had was a dream to achieve something bigger than he could ever possibly imagine. Just like the way Sam Darnold did. Just like the way all these other people before him. Just like the way all of us have.
Just like the way we do.
Just like the way we do. Just like the way any other person in the United States does. Is that you keep grinding.
Keep grinding.
Exactly. Put that work in. And listen, sometimes you run into some hurdles along the way. Sometimes you're going to run into some brick walls. But so long as you know that no matter what, you gave it your all. You did everything you possibly could. You left nothing.
Sometimes you lose the Super Bowl to the Patriots on the 1-yard line. But then 10 years later, you come back and win it. And it's even sweeter than
That's right. Before. Easy as that. Easy as that. All right, folks, that's going to do it for our show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you leave a like on this video. You can subscribe. And as we now know, ring the bell icon so you can get alerted when we have new videos going up. We have quick shoots going up every Friday now, or just cut-ups of the episodes. If you want to support us there, when you see those uploaded, just go ahead, give it a like, comment, share with us your thoughts. You can also join our Discord. You can find a link for that in the description down below. Oh, I just got an alert. I have a meeting in 10 minutes, so I got to go. Folks, thank you so much for watching. Thank you once again. We'll see you soon. Peace.
Buckeyes.